Oh, thank you very much, Brent. Good to be back in Halsey. And when we walked in today, it smelled like the first day of school here in a classroom here that we have been given each and every year to look upon the race. Thanks to the Halsey School and all the folks here, first of all, and a big thank you to the Sandhills Open Road Challenge Committee. Their 23rd year of racing here in the event. This is not the 23rd year for the Loup, but it is a part of it now and has been for a number of years. And they would like to thank all the landowners, businesses, and volunteers, over 300 volunteers who contribute the next few days, starting actually the last few days, to make this all happen with check-ins and so forth. So we want to thank everybody for listening here this morning. Larry Kottner is trackside, and he is going to set up a little interview here to get things started. I don't know if you have that ready to go yet, Larry, but let's check in with you out there.
Yeah, right now, Dave, no, we're waiting on Bub Rodocker, and Bub's got some last things going on. And also, I think we're delayed just a little bit. We've seen some pickups head out and go check the course a little bit, and we don't have any cars lined up yet up here at the start line. And, we usually see that as much as 10 to 15 minutes before we ever get started.
Well, that is true. We don't have them lined up. When they start coming in, we know they're getting close. There must be some adjustments out there, probably technical adjustments, just guessing. And that tells me to turn on the radio that we've been given to monitor, so we do know what some of these things are happening and not happening out there. Did want to thank our sponsors, which include Pinnacle Bank, 44 Racing, RT Green, and 444 Racing, RT Green, Delcab Asgro, Hornady, Great Plains Communication, Optima Batteries, Pioneer, South Loop Seed, Viera Wireless, Blueprint Engines, Bex Hybrids, and also CarQuest in Broken Bow, A1 Auto Repair in Arnold. There are radio sponsors, or some of them, Mills Hardware in Arnold, and Lashley Land and Recreational Brokers, making the radio available to you, the broadcast. Also, Trumbull Repair and Towing, a big part of what we do. Callaway District Hospital and the Arnold and Callaway Medical Clinics, Reed's Food Center, Gateway Motors, Trotter Service in Broken Bow, the Sandhills Corral, Anderson Auto Tech, the Smoke Shack, WinQuest Incorporated, also our sponsor again this year, and Pinnacle Bank of Arnold, along with First State Insurance of Arnold, RT Ace Hardware in Broken Bow, Bierman Vet Services in Arnold, BD in Broken Bow, and the Mount Custer Truck Sales and State Farm Insurance, Donna Cahill, all our sponsors, excuse me, and of course they have corporate sponsors as well that we would like to thank on behalf of the SORC Open Road Challenge, and that includes some of the ones we mentioned, Pioneer and Bex and Hornady we mentioned in the list as well just a moment ago. And they've always print up a beautiful program thanking those sponsors, and they have the schedule of events for us to bring you as well. And while we have time here, let's run down what has taken place and what will take place. They started their inspection for the Loop-to-Loop race on Tuesday, and that happened out at the Robbie Smith shop west of Arnold. And then yesterday they had registration and tech inspection for the Loop-to-Loop races from 8 until 2 p.m. And they had a driver's meeting for the Loop-to-Loop, which is mandatory at 6 o'clock last night here at the Sandhills High School up Dunning, up the highway a ways. So that was some of the prep that went in, and the check-in at the Arnold Community Building was brisk yesterday. They'll be checking in some more cars. They had 50 cars that they checked in on Tuesday, and so yesterday they did another 30 or so they'll just have a few more check-ins to do. Wrapping those up real early, and everything was real casual yesterday, so it was running very smoothly. And today is the Loop-to-Loop. They had the volunteer breakfast at 6:30 at the elementary school here where we're located. The road closing today at 7:30, and the Loop-to-Loop race scheduled to start at 8:30. We do have cars coming up now, Larry, I see.
Yeah, we do. We have a few cars coming up here now. Car 55 is the first one headed up here, and that will be the start of the 80-mile-per-hour class. And they're going to get when we get over here to
all right, Larry, we're not
some of the inspections.
We're breaking up, Larry, so you may have to come down this way from behind the building there. I'm not sure where you're at. So.
Right. Yeah, okay, I'll get over here a little bit back where I was. Is that better, Dave?
Yep, that's good. And
okay.
That if you can see from there, looks like we've got a good signal there. So tell us what's happening.
Yeah, they've got car 455 back up here at the line. The cone is out. They're doing some of the last-minute inspections. The first 4 cars are lined up. Let's see if I can get Bub Rodocker over here before we get started. Bub is back, but he's still doing a little bit of last-minute work across the way. And kind of hate to walk over there, Dave, or I think we might end up missing him a little bit more.
Yeah, that's understandable. It's just breaking up a little bit. It's never done that before, so we're not sure what sort of interference we're having now that we've never had in the years past. All the equipment is the same, but we'll do our very best with it and bring you everything that we can here as Larry is standing there with Jeremy. Maybe they're working some things out. All right, looks like they're getting closer and closer to getting this started again this year. I know for one thing that they have made some changes. I was talking with some officials yesterday about how the preparation goes into the loop-de-loop, and they now require the drivers who are driving the loop-de-loop to drive it, I believe, at least twice before this race day, and they have to verify that they have driven the loop-de-loop at least twice and had a practice in. And, of course, it looks like they're getting closer here to get the loop-de-loop started here on okay, it looks like Larry's got his guest.
Yeah, I've got Rodocker here, Dave, and Bub, 10 years. Hard to believe it's the 10th loop-de-loop race getting started back in 2014. Talk a little bit about how that has really evolved since the inception.
Well, we started out just a few cars, and we've just kept growing cars over the years, and more people show up every year.
You know, we've got a pretty good morning here today. You always have to play to the weather gods as far as this goes, but so far early on, it looks like we've got pretty good weather for this.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really nice. Might get a little warm this afternoon, but hopefully everything goes well, and we're done pretty decent time.
How many cars do we have here today in how many classes?
116, and there is 6 different classes.
And we'll get started with the 80, 85, 90, 95, and then you go to the higher class, 110. Talk a little bit about why you guys do that, and then jump backwards.
We run the slower cars earlier in the mornings. A lot of times you have some dew on the road or something like that, and the slower classes kind of help dry that out. Then you bump to your fast class, and then everybody else behind them is going to be slower, so you're not having to hold everybody up as long to get them going.
What are some of the vehicles we're going to see here today as far as Corvettes and different makes and models?
You're going to see Corvettes, you're going to see Lamborghinis, Mustangs. There's a little bit of everything. There's a pickup in it. Everybody just races whatever they have, I guess.
Bub, thanks for coming over and talking with us. I know you've got a lot to do with this race.
Yep, thank you.
All right, that's Bub Rodocker, and he is the director of the race, and has done a good job here at the Loop-de-Loop over the years, and we always welcome him come over and talk to us before the race gets started, Dave.
We sure do appreciate what he does and all the volunteers of what they do each and every year, all the preparation we just talked about. They had breakfast here this morning, and they're getting ready to go. As we mentioned, they're requiring more practice on this route because it is very challenging. It's very curvy, and it really tests the drivers. And a lot of drivers have talked about how much they like this race just because it does test their skills, test their automobiles, their navigators. It's all high level. And even the slower speeds, they have to sit up straight and pay attention because this road is a snake. It's really curvy, and there's not a lot of bank to the curves. And so they understand that, and all the safety precautions that they can put into a place they have done, and they're inspecting the cars right now as we speak. One of the things that we enjoy about coming up here is the hospitality, just like in Arnold and Callaway during the events, and all of the different things that center around the race, plus the things that are going on off the racetrack, off the roads, because there's always a lot of hospitality being handed out to these drivers. And every time we ask them about what do you like most about the races here in the Sandhills, they say the people. They love coming and enjoying the company, and they also mention the good food here quite often as well. So it's all set, ready to go. As you mentioned, the weather, Larry, there have been years we've been up here that we've been sitting in the auditorium having a late breakfast because of rain. There's been years that we've been up here that the fog was too heavy for them to run on, and Bob mentioned that there is always a little bit of dew on the surface earlier in the day. That's probably drying off pretty nicely now because we have some sunshine and some clouds, so things look pretty good.
You know, we should point out this is a race that's about 13 and a half miles one way and then 13 and a half back. We start right here by the Halsey Elementary School in town and head them up the Halsey-Purdom Road towards Purdom. And, you know, by the way, we've got the clock running now. And the first car, 455, Jessica Morton, 2011 Chevy Corvette. Black Rose is the color, and she is off and running.
And this is her first race here. No experience in this type of racing, but she's excited about being here for this first time out. Want to remind everybody you can be watching this as we describe it on Sandhills Express, the streaming tab. Click on that. You can find it on YouTube, Facebook, and enjoy the pictures that Jeremy and Grant are providing for you here today, and all the fine sponsors making that possible as well.
And with this 80-mile-per-hour class, they get going pretty fast. And that's Michael Schultz along with Garrett Moore. Ford Mustang, blue in color, and they are off and that's one.
All right, that was car number 2 on the track.
971, and now we've got 302, Dave. That's Chad Smith in a yellow 2018 Ford Mustang, and they're off and And here's one of our favorites, Dave, every year, the old 8-ball. Number 8, John Schmidt, 1990 Chevy Corvette, and of course it's black in color.
And John is out of Lincoln, Nebraska. He's been coming here for many years, and he thanks the volunteers and support so that they can do what they're doing right now, going down this track that has now turned into a racetrack.
And John is off, and he is headed down the Purdom Road, heading north towards the town of Purdom. Les Steinoff, number 23, black 2022 Dodge Challenger, and it looks sharp.
Linda and Les are happy to be back racing again this year for their 14th year, as they have their Corvette that they've brought, and they love coming here and enjoying the company in the area as well as the competition.
And Les is off the Loup race. That'll bring up the 6th car in this 80-mile-per-hour class. This will be Jeremy Jones as the driver.
And that's Jeremy Jones, number 37, and Dave Snyder in a 66 Ford Mustang. And he is 51 years old. He's a chiropractor out of Laramie, Wyoming. Looks like he's getting ready to go.
Off and running. This will be Rich in a 5.
All right, it looks like car number 46, Richard Dayton, I believe, out of California, in a 2022 Audi, and I hope I have this correctly. There's an ambulance right in front of me, and Larry's cutting out just a little bit.
Yeah, am I doing better now, Dave?
Sounds better.
Okay, that was Richard Dayton in the 2022 Audi Q5. And so we're going to bring up the 8th car in the 80-mile-per-hour class. Jim Stainer and Sharon Stainer in 1996 Mazda Miata. This is also black in color.
All right.
Car number 50.
Car number 50, Jim Stainer is a rookie driver this year. This has been on his bucket list for many years. They watched in 2022 and are now here to compete for the first time. They're looking forward to having a lot of fun.
And I think this one's going to have a little pop and noise to it when it takes off here, Dave. It looks like they just had the last-minute inspection, and as you said, rookie driver, and this will be his first time out on the course, getting some last-minute instructions from Bub Rodocker, and he is on the clock and be coming around here in a few. This is, again, the 80-mile-per-hour class, and we'll have 27 cars in this first class. 27 of the 116 entered in the loop-the-loop today will be in this 80-mile-per-hour class. So once again, Jim Stainer and Sharon Stainer on the line with their 1996 Mazda Miata. And they are off and running. That'll bring up Tony Dahlman along with Maria Schneider. This is a blue 1963 Chevy Corvette, car number 63. Car number 63.
All right, a 63 Corvette. And Maria notes here she's finally getting around to updating her bio for the first time in 3 years. And they are off and going.
We have tire scratch there, Dave.
We sure do.
Got second gear, too. I don't know if you heard that part. Caught it up there on the hill. That'll bring up car number 76. This is Barry White along with Michelle White. Oh, it smells like rubber around here now. 2000 and, let's see, I kind of lost track here. 2021 Audi TTRS, gray in color.
All right, out of Meriden, Kansas.
And they are off and running. Keith Bisson and Pat Gorecki. 1983 Chevy Camaro. This is car number 83. Is a beautiful red color. I think we saw this one on the way up here today.
We did, and after many years watching Sork, they brought the Camaro. No more excuses. They're out of Lincoln, Nebraska, and they've had some fun here in the past. Looking forward to having fun here today.
And they are off and running. They're kind of quiet on theirs. They'll bring up car number 93. This will be Bill Meyer and Rich Maxwell in a silver 2011 Chevy Caprice.
4 decades of experience competing in the SCCA road racing, 5 divisional championships, 3 in succession in 18, 19, and 20, and 5th at the 2018 SCC National Championships. And so these are serious racers here.
And they are quietly off and running as well. So I bring up car number 120. This will be Scott Mann. Scott's driving a black 2007 Chevy Corvette.
All right. I don't believe I have that in the book. I don't believe I have a description for that, Larry. So we'll just wish them the best of luck as they hit the curvy road on the way to Purdom, Nebraska. And they'll turn around.
One of the first cars I saw down Main Street here today. And he is off and running and heading towards Purdom to the north on the 55-mile-per-hour speed limit road. However, today it's 80 miles per hour, or at least that's the target speed. You can go we should mention these vehicles are teched to a higher speed, but they can't exceed that. And they have to kind of keep it as close as they can to an average of 80 miles per hour. Making a little noise is car 216, Matt Clark, Jason Taylor, black 2016 Ford Mustang.
And that is Matt out of Marion, Iowa, and been friends for 20 years as high school buddies. Now they're racing together.
15th car of the class. Car number 7 is Kirk Sharp, Court Grooms in a blue 2020 Ferrari 812.
Car number 7 out of Valentine, Nebraska.
Kind of got a little slow start, but boy, once he kicked it in, it took off. This is car 247. This is Peter Gerbrock and Rudy Gerbrock in a 2009 Mini Cooper S, red in color, car number 247.
And Peter and Rudy coming down out of Rapid City, South Dakota. And he remembers sitting in the bleachers of a dirt oval somewhere, wondering how he could get on the racing scheme, and here he is.
And that 247, the printed up in there as a red, white, and blue color on that number. 265, Tom Starr, Ray Boston. Red, 2018 Tesla Model 3.
Yes, and I believe that is Deb Briner's relative, and he grew up in the Sandhills, worked summers on a ranch through high school. Good to be back in the Sandhills, out of Lincoln.
And that had to have been the quietest takeoff I'd ever heard. I mean, that thing just went out nice and smooth. Car 280, Alan Kortmeyer and Gary Kortmeyer. It's a blue 2005 Nissan 350Z, car number 280.
Alan Kortmeyer and Gary, that 75 Datsun, and they have listed here in the book all the different placings they've had since 2011 when they first came to the races here.
Car 313 coming up to the line. This is James Luby and Carl Luby. Red 1979 Chevy Camaro.
All right. They love everything about racing here. They learned everything their rookie year, and now they're going to put some of that experience to work out of Lincoln, Nebraska.
And they're sitting here ready to go and taking off right now. That'll bring to the line car 357. This is T-Coy Morales and Kim Morales. It's a black 2018 Chevy Camaro.
Out of Caryville, Texas, with that 2000 Camaro, participating the last 5 years. And 2 years ago, his wife Kim joined him as the navigator for the Sork event. They've had good times, and they're back again.
Reminds us that a lot of these folks coming from all over the country, as the Texas crew is off and running. Car 363, Mike Rasmussen, driving a silver 2016 Volvo S60R.
And they'll be driving the course for the first time together, as Mike had Corey's twin daughters navigate for him the previous year. So Mike and Corey together now for the first time in car 363.
Now for this race, though, Mike was all by himself. So I imagine that'll probably be for the SORC on Saturday. So 585 coming up. Jay Nightingale and Cy Nightingale in a purple and orange 1968 Chevy Camaro.
Out of Sheridan, Colorado, bringing that Camaro. 2022, they were rookies with his brother Cy, and he was hooked.
Car 718, car 718 is, and I think we skipped one here, but it'll be Brett Korth and John Fissler in a silver 2000 Chevy Camaro SS, car 718, Dave.
Car 718 out of Lincoln, Nebraska, that 2000 Chevy Camaro. Said it's his first sports car, and you know what? He got hooked on speed.
We did have 675 on our grid, but they were not here at least this placing. 888, car 888, Scott Minton and Brock Minton. 2014 Chevy Corvette, gray in color. Overland
Park, Kansas is home to Scott and Brock, and they're here, father and son. Their 6th year at the Sork and 4th as a driver.
Another one of those really sharp-looking Corvettes. Our first pickup of the day, Dave. It's a vehicle 316. Ron Schneider, Mitch Hendricks, Pewter 2001 Chevy S10.
Out of Lincoln, Nebraska, with that S10. Well, the toy truck proved it was up to it last year, so you can't eliminate them or the coffee stains in the seats of the pickup. I suppose they got that when they were lurching forward.
And they're off and running, and that'll bring us to the last car in the 80-mile-per-hour class. This will be car 164, Tim Winker and David Sanderson. It's a magnetic 2017 Ford Fiesta ST.
Out of Glidden, Iowa, David and Tim traveled here. and they have been involved in racing for many, many years, started running rallies and autocrosses over 50 years ago. So they've been at this a while and excited to be here again this year.
And so right now, Dave, we'll have a slight break as we'll go to the 85-mile-per-hour class. And they'll wait just a little bit here before they get them started because they'll give the 80-mile-per-hour class a little bit of a leeway.
All right, Larry. Well, Jeremy Scheib put together some data for us about the Loop-de-Loop. It takes place on a 12-mile stretch of highway between Halsey and Purdom. 7 classers are offered with target speeds of 80, 85, 90, 95, 100, 105, and 110. And anyone who enters Saturday's Sork race is eligible to enter the Loop-de-Loop, or they can enter this race only, and some of them do that. So it just depends on their choices. Also, we have last year's winners of the Loop-de-Loop that Jeremy put together for us. Last year's winner in the 80-mile-per-hour class was Barry Lohman with first place finish. 85-mile-per-hour class was Ken and Mike Reese last year. 90-mile-per-hour class was Eric Schmidt. In the 95, Leroy Urich and Shanda Gronseth.
And Dave, I'm going to interrupt you for a second. We're going to pop in the last 80-mile-per-hour class vehicle. They just got it popped up here. This is 675. Vishal Singh and Barry Beckham, they are driving a silver 2022 Lexus LC500. They were supposed to go a little bit earlier, and they are going to be the last one here in the 80-mile-per-hour class.
All right, thanks, Larry. Glad they got in. They must have made some adjustments. May have been a problem when they checked them out that they had to get right, or maybe they had a little mechanical issue, but it's good to see they're able to run. These folks come from a long ways away to be able to do this, so it's always nice to see them get started and get going down the track.
And they are off and running, and so the cone is back out again as we will await the 85-mile-per-hour class.
All right, and we will tell you that last year in the 105-mile-per-hour class, Matt Doffer was the winner, and in the 110, Ted Hughes and Joe Schoen were the winners in the 110 last year, and most of these were like .120 off the perfect time that they needed to hit. I only see one particular category where there was more than that, so they're right on target, and that's what they're trying to do today. This is about speed, consistency, and hitting their marks together. In most cases with their navigators. Some, as you mentioned, Larry, do go by themselves. We're going to take a 30-second timeout, and we'll be right back with more racing here from Halsey.
When you go to the auto parts store, you want to talk to people who know cars. For Lewis and the crew at CarQuest in Broken Bow, it's not just a job, it's their lifestyle. Did you know they offer fleet and farm accounts that give you significant savings on heavy-duty filters? Swing by and ask about it soon. They continue to offer services like making hydraulic hoses, parts washing, and turning rotors.
Right
Open Monday to Friday, 7:30 to 6, and Saturday, 7:30 to 3. CarQuest on West Highway 2 in Broken Bow.
All right, there they go. Started.
All right, first car has already gone off in the 85-mile-per-hour class. That was Ken Reese, 364, in a white 2016 Chevy Corvette. Up now is car 605. This is Jack Schmidt and Jake Schmidt in a silver 2004 Cadillac CTS-V. And we're moving right along here in the 85-mile-per-hour class. This will be the third in the class and the 30th car to take off here this morning. Car 996, it's Mike Black in a red 2022 Chevy Corvette.
Mike is out of Garland, Texas, all the way from Garland, Texas. Been racing in Sork since 2010 and a retired electrical engineer, and Janet is a retired teacher. So they are enjoying their retirement here in the Sandhills.
And even though they list that as red, it's kind of more of a maroon-colored vehicle. Car 19 is Clint McKenzie. He is driving a green 2007 Dodge Charger.
father-son matchup here out of Crete, Nebraska. They've been around cars since they were able to handle wrenches in the shop, both dad and son, and some of their favorite memories have been building and racing cars and doing some dirt track circle racing, but here on this track today.
And I'll be honest, Dave, I'm not sure I've ever seen a four-door Dodge Charger, but that's what we just saw right there. Car 43, Daniel Lineback and Deborah Lineback, orange 2015 Chevy Corvette, car 43.
All the way from Texas in that 2015 first open road race they participated in was the Big Bend open race back in 2011. They've been hooked ever since, and here they are at Sork today.
And even though it says orange, it's kind of a Texas burnt orange or even rust color. It's a sharp-looking vehicle. Car 44, Brian Kirk and Tom Kirk. They're in a white 2004 Porsche GT3. This is car 44.
And Tom is out of Lincoln with Brian. Tom is a retired Chrysler dealer, and his son Brian will be both sharing the driving and navigating duties today and through the races.
Yeah, and I think Tom is the navigator here today, and Brian for the loop-to-loop is doing the driving. Car 58 coming to the line, Rodney Bilderback. Rodney is driving a red 1991 Acura NSX.
Rodney is here for, I think, the fourth time, maybe third time maybe. He was here in 18 and 19 and took a little time off. He is back from Bennington, Nebraska.
Got that spoiler on the back, and he is headed down the road. Car 64 is next. This is Robert Dysart and Leland Dysart in a silver 2002 Porsche 996 Turbo.
Out of Anna, Texas, Robert and Leland are here for the first time. They've heard a lot of great things, so they've come to check it out.
And gearing up, ready to go here. Waiting for the countdown, and it should be off. Car 279 is next, and driving by herself is Carly Bates. 2019 Chevy Camaro, white in color, car 279.
Out of Eagle Mountain, Utah, in that 19 Camaro. Some people call me Carly, she says. Friends call me Utah. She enjoys competing as one of the very few solo female drivers in the sport, here at least.
Got the Devil's River emblem on the side of that one. Car number 206. This will be Tracy Klinkenbeard, familiar name from the past. Black 2002 Chevy Corvette, car 206.
Tracy and Kim coming out of Odessa, Texas in that 2002 Corvette. And then 2016, his wife, and he ran the Sork in an L2L. First time ever to navigate and run together.
Up next, we've got car 717. It's the Hazen Hours. Matt and Kelly. Pewter 2001 Ford Mustang. This is car 717.
Car 717 out of North Platte in that Mustang. Matt is the driver and Kelly is the navigator. They entered last year and had a great time, so here they are back again.
I like that pewter color. I don't on any vehicle. Car 68 is coming up next. Linda Kruger is the driver. Rick Kruger is the navigator. It's a red 2017 Ford Mustang. And, yeah, it does have a Kansas City Chiefs thing on the side, too.
And they're very proud of that. Happened to talk to them yesterday. You'll hear them on the air later in retirement. I think Rick is still working some. Linda is retired, and they're together, and they share their driving duties. They take turns. It'll be the other way around coming back.
Car number 91, Mike McCullough and Zach Rustad. This is a black 2007 Audi RS4, car number 91.
Out of Lincoln, Nebraska, Mike and Zach back in Arnold. They said it's always nice to be in Arnold, Callaway, and Halsey, and the other areas that support make the loop-to-loop and Sork happen, and they're ready to have some fun.
Hard to believe, Dave, we're already over halfway through the 85-mile-per-hour class, and we're also up to, I believe, our 41st vehicle of the day. This is car 101, William Harvey and Andrew Harvey in a red 2006 Saturn Ion Redline.
And car 101 is out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, and they're excited to be back in Arnold among friends. This is a great place filled with wonderful people. Yikes.
Those tire smarts will be there for a little while. Car 169 coming up next. That's Gus Brown and Liam Brown. Orange 2010 Chevy Camaro, car 169.
Out of Colorado, Berthoud, Colorado. They've enjoyed over the years attending and participating in SORC, bringing much of the family off and on over the years. By the way, this has a 6-speed transmission, so there's going to be some shifting going on here on this route.
261 is up next. This will be Jeremy Fox, the driver, going by himself here today. 2017 blue Chevy Corvette.
And they are out of Lincoln, Nebraska. Rookie drivers looking forward to having some fun for the first time in their 2017 Corvette Grand Sport. Exciting, I'm sure, first time out. I bet that heartbeat is just beating a little faster right now.
Looking at the Corvette takeoff, and then coming to the line is a little bit older vehicle. Car 314, Scott LaPointe, Kevin Duffy, green 1964 Chevy Chevelle.
Out of Belle Plaine, Minnesota, in that 64 Chevelle. That it's really cool to see those older cars on the track. This one was some that caught your eye in past years when it's been here. This is their 5th year here.
And the roof of that vehicle is just kind of old school.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, if you went out and looked in the field at a vehicle, it would look the same. Car 321, Jim Miller, Jaylee John in a red 2005 Dodge Viper, our first Viper of the day.
They didn't travel too far to get here. They're out of North Platte, Nebraska. This is the 6th time they've run the race.
Car number 485, Jared Beam and Debbie Beam. They're driving a gray 2012 Camaro, car 485.
Topeka, Kansas is home for Debbie and Jared Beam, and they're so excited to be back in the races this year. This is their 10th year at SORC.
We welcome you from the state capital of Kansas to the SORC capital and Loup capital of Nebraska. Car 486 coming up. That'll be Barry Lohman and Robert Diedrich, a red 2007 Chevy Corvette.
Out of Hutto, Texas, and this pair of guys are going to have some fun together. They've been in open road racing throughout United States, and so they make it a habit to get to all the races they can. We're glad they're making it a habit to be here.
And they're off and running. Only 3 cars left in this 85-mile-per-hour class. Coming up to the line now is 511. This is Alan Golden and Mark Golden. They're driving a blue 2016 Chevy Camaro.
Their 5th year of racing here at SORC, 6th year of participation out of Inver Grove Heights, Minnesota.
That's a nice shiny blue vehicle. Got that Minnesota plate, and they're on the clock and off and running. Car number 949, Michael Durnell and Levi Durnell. They're driving a gray 2019 Chevy Corvette 949.
They had a father-son team before 2016, but had never undertaken an event like this, and they're anticipating a great experience and expectations in this particular participation this year in that 2019 Corvette.
They're off and running. All right, we've got the local Double T boys here. Michael Tion and Matt Tion, black and white 2011 Chevy Camaro. Gotta love that KBBN 95.3 sticker on the side. I know the guys are in there listening to us right now.
Now, guys, they have been doing this for a while now, and they really like having the loop-to-loop up here at Halsey right in their stomping grounds. But after their first trip to Purdom averaging over 100, they were hooked forever.
And the cone is out, Dave, and so we will wait for the 90-mile-per-hour class, which is coming up soon.
All right, we'll be back in a quick 30 seconds.
The Callaway District Hospital, along with the Arnold and Callaway Medical Clinics, love supporting the community, and they're very excited for the SORC organizers as they get ready for the Open Road Challenge. The Callaway District Hospital and Medical Clinics want to remind you of their public transportation service. Call 308-212-0464 to schedule a ride today. Areas served and destinations requested will be evaluated on a first-come, first-served basis. Enjoy the excitement of SORC from the Callaway District Hospital and the Arnold and Callaway Medical Clinics.
Back live here at Halsey. Larry, what's going on?
Well, we're getting ready for the 90-mile-per-hour class, Dave, and this is the largest of all the classes, and the first car is on the way. That is car 11, Eric Schmidt, in a red 1989 Chevy Corvette. Up to the line now is car 712, Sid Stewart and Steve Swisher, a white 2011 Ford Mustang.
And back to Eric Schmidt out of Lincoln. This will be his 22nd year at SORC, so you have a veteran out there leading the way.
And right now, Sid Stewart and Steve Swisher are off and running. That'll bring to the line car 707. This will be Ken Hodges along with Les Peterson in a red 2007 Chevy Corvette, car 707.
Out of Julesburg, Colorado. This is their 17th year of participation, and they're both farmers from the Julesburg, Colorado area, and they have a love for fast Corvettes. And this is just a place to bring them and enjoy.
Julesburg, that's kind of like a suburb of Nebraska, isn't it?
Almost.
Yeah, suburb of Big Springs or something like that. All right, that'll bring up car 69, Zach Hagler, Heather Hagler, maroon 2018 Dodge Challenger Hellcat, and this car 69 looks sharp.
It does look sharp, and this is their second year for Zach and Heather, and they're locals and want to make everybody proud, but we want you to be safe out there, guys.
That's one you just wait on and let them bark. 186 is coming up. Brent Culp, Heidi Culp, black 2006 Dodge Magnum, car 186.
And also hometown participants out of Arnold in that 2006 Magnum. This has been a grand year for gearheads.
And it's percolating, ready to go. Car 15 is next. This will be Kelly Bork in an orange 2019 Chevy Corvette. Car 15, beautiful purple lettering for the number.
Out of Sioux Center, Iowa, in that Corvette, came last year with Barry Conkin and said, wow, I want to get involved.
Now they're about ready to get involved here in about 2 seconds. To the line we come 28, car 28. This is Ralph and Beth Johnson. They're driving an orange 2017 Dodge Charger.
All right, out of Waukene, Kansas in that Charger. And they have loved the small town atmosphere, friendly people, and the variety of beautiful cars. They've been married for 37 years, and they have, well, like taste, that's for sure.
Pulling up to the line now is 212. This is Gregory Erlinson and Chris Cudmore. It's a white 2016 Ford Mustang GT, car 2112.
Out of Rapid City, South Dakota. I talked with Greg yesterday, and he's excited about being here, blessed with family, 2 young kids that mean a lot to him, and so he's really hoping they get to be able to watch him do well.
And with car 212 leaving, we have reached the halfway point of this loop-the-loop start on its way to Purdom. The 59th car of the day up to the line is 204. This is Jason Hornaday along with Todd Vance. It's a great 2022 Cadillac CT5 Blackwing.
All right, they just talk about how much they love coming here for all the people. 30 years they've been making friends here.
Car number 49, familiar name here, Lyle Holt, along with Nick Halteman. This is a white 2021 Tesla S.
Out of Overland Park, Kansas, in the Tesla. They love cars, they love racing, and they're downright gaga over Sork. So they like it.
And they're about ready to get going. Ooh,
That's
another
one.
quiet car. That had, oh my goodness, they're already over the hill. That did not, it took off quiet, but it burned all the way across. So that'll bring up car 696, Bob Bixler Jr. He's driving a yellow, oh, wait a minute. I skipped one. Car 59, Kevin Hanshoe, and Rick Kane. This is a black 2003 Chevy Corvette, car 59.
All right, 4th year that they're here. Looking forward to it.
Now comes the Bixler Incorporated vehicle. Bob Bixler Jr. in 696, a yellow 1994 Ford Mustang GT.
John says, I love the event. Great place to test my building, mechanical, and driving skills. The people are wonderful, and I feel the need for speed.
Bob's about ready to take off, riding by himself today in this loop-to-loop race. To the line is car 40. This is Darren Brewer, along with Sean Robinson. It's a blue 2017 Lamborghini.
Oh, nice. Out of Gretna, Nebraska, a native Nebraskan. He and his wife keep busy with their 4 children, hunting, fishing, and motorsports.
And it's waiting to go. It's got down to about 2 seconds. To the line will be car 85, another familiar name. This is Barry Conkin, along with Steve Folsom. It is a blue 2020 Chevy Corvette.
Out of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, they have competed in the last 19 of the 23 Sork races, and every loop race they've been participating in since it started, so they know this track pretty well.
And they are ready to go and off and running. That'll bring to the line car 88. This is Daniel Metzger, along with Jeffrey Howard, a gray 2005 Mercury Grand Marquis.
It's Daniel's third year competing, second year driving at the races here this time around.
Hard to believe that a 2005, Dave, would be 18 years old, almost 19, since a lot of the 2005 models probably came out in late 2004.
Yeah, it goes by pretty quick, especially when you start looking at cars and you think they're new and they're not even close.
Terry Poland and Gary Halstead, and car 107 is next. This is a red 2013 Chevy Corvette, car 107.
Terry and Gary teaming up together. Terry's out of Wichita, Kansas, 10th year of racing, and he's an excellent navigator, Gary Halstead.
And let me correct that. I think I said Poland. That was Terry Pollard that is driving. Car 140, Jim Webster, and Blue Offit in a gray 2022 Chevy Corvette.
All right, car 140. Let me find that real quick. And come on, Pages. Turn for me.
That's a beautiful vehicle here. There's no two ways about it.
Oh,
this
yeah.
Low rider.
Out of Alberta, out of Calgary.
All right, one of the best names in racing, regardless where. Samer Damer, along with Debbie Damer, car 173. It's the white 2018 Chevy Camaro.
Out of Parkville, Missouri, and they can't wait to get going. Young engineer and business leader, and loves coming to Arnold, mixing with the people, having a lot of fun, and they thank everybody for their excellent hospitality.
And they are off and running down the track. Car 211, John Shuda. He comes in here with the red 2001 Chevy Corvette.
7th year at Sork, 5th year in this particular automobile, and he doesn't usually use a navigator. He uses this as a western part of his territory business trip. Smart. Way to go.
And his license plate says Wisconsin, and it says SORC. So that's probably one that they didn't have to look too hard for in Wisconsin.
Probably not.
Car 289, Aaron Anderson, Kendra Anderson. This is a blue 2017 Ford Shelby.
All right, 2017. Those are nice-looking automobiles, and the saddest moment for them is when this is all over and they know they have to wait another year to come back.
Sometimes I can hear you, Dave. Sometimes I can't. That's kind of what, that's one of the times I can't. Car 333, Michael Rasmussen. It's a white 1995 BMW 318 Ti.
Out of Plattsmouth, Nebraska, and they're back again this year, ready to attempt a perfect north and south drive. Good luck, guys.
Yep. They are off on the north portion of that. They'll be coming back a little bit later today, of course, on the south ride from Purdom back here to Halsey. Tim Zimmerman and Cecilia Zimmerman, car 415 is next. This is a gray 2014 Dodge Charger.
He caught this car just by a whim. He was out shopping and bought it on a whim, and he thought it was his third or fourth midlife crisis. Seems to be working out for him.
Here comes our second pickup of the day. This is vehicle 606, Joe Hackney and Tyler Hackney, and a pewter 2000 Chevy Silverado.
Sabetha, Kansas is home, and they are ready to go here. This is their Sork rerun here. The truck is Joe Daly's tuned race car.
And then one of their major sponsors on the side, Old House Auto House, is from Fairview, Kansas, where I lived as a 4-year-old. So I'm familiar with Fairview, Kansas.
I don't think that community's ever been the same.
Probably not. Now they got something else to be more famous for. 816 is up next. Claire Kurz and Matt Kurz in a red 2016 Chevy Corvette.
Retired farmer from Palmer, Nebraska. They've been coming here for a number of years. And always friendly, fun folks to have in town.
We're down to the final 3 cars of the 90-mile-per-hour class, the biggest of the classes. 866 is next. This is Trenton Zesson and Jared Halverson. It's a silver 1966 Chevy Nova.
Out of Malcolm, Nebraska, they're both tool and die machinists in Lincoln, and they both enjoyed cars from a young age with family and friends, and that's what they're doing here.
Kind of like the decade itself, Dave, the 1960s vehicles make a lot of noise.
Yeah, but we didn't get much done.
943 is next. This is Quentin Dawson and Pat Shinnick in a purple 1982 Ford Mustang.
Out of Ontario, Canada, in that 82 Ford Mustang, come a long way to participate here.
And our last vehicle in the 90-mile-per-hour class, this will be car 589, Alan Edmondson and Leslie Edmondson in a 2018 Chevy Camaro. It's red in color.
Rookie driver. My wife and I are doing this for my dad, who has been battling cancer and wanted to do this race with him in 2022. So it's a very special moment for the family.
And with that, Dave, the cone is back out. It won't be much of a wait. We'll be ready for the 95-mile-per-hour class.
We'll be back in a quick 30 seconds.
When you're searching for a vehicle you can depend on, it helps to shop where you have a large variety to choose from. At Gateway Motors, their lots have cars, trucks, and SUVs ready for you to check out and test drive. Having a lot of vehicles on their lot means it will be easier for them to find you the right one. Don't forget, whether new or pre-owned, vehicles with less than 100,000 miles come with warranty forever. Proud to support the Sandhills Open Road Challenge action. Gateway Motors in Broken Bow.
You're listening to KBBN 95.3 FM. You're also watching the races today on sandhillsexpress.com. Here's Larry Cotner.
All right, we are ready for the 95-mile wheelhouse in a white and blue 2008 Ford Mustang. The clock is running as we are down to about 10 seconds, I believe, before it will be time to take off, Dave.
All right. didn't catch that number, Larry. So
25.
25. All right. Out of Pierre, South Dakota, in that Shelby, and they always get really jacked up this time of year when it comes around time to come to Custer County and Central Nebraska and Blaine County and come up here and do some racing.
And with that, the 95-mile-per-hour class is now on the track. 285, Tom Sorrells and Jeremy Riley. This is a red and black. I mean, it's sharp. 2010 Dodge Viper ACR.
Car 285 out of Odessa, Texas. They're excited about returning to Sork. This will be their 9th year to participate in this great event. This is by far the best and most challenging race event in the open race circuit. That's a compliment. We appreciate that very much.
Being from Odessa, of course, we talked about the burnt orange earlier. This has got more of a look like the Texas Tech Red Raider vehicle with the black and red, and it's a very nice looking vehicle. They're taking a little bit more time in between the times that they take off because of the fact that we're at this higher speed of 95 miles per hour. So the third car in this 95 mile per hour class is car number 1. You can bet you know who this is, Dave. This is Joe Schoen.
Joe Schoen out of Stapleton. Joe has been in every race. He is one of the organizers that got together and started dreaming this whole event up. Not so much the Loup to Loup, because at the time they were just talking about having the over-the-road race. But Joe's a pioneer.
Well, he's teamed up with Brent Anderson in a blue 2011 Chevy Corvette. Car 71 to the line now. This is Charlie Friend. He's going by himself. It's a silver 2014 Cadillac CTS-V.
And we've been calling out Charlie Friend's name for a long time. He's out of Nevada, and he's a retired pilot from the Air Force. He retired clear back in 1980, but he was fortunate to land a job flying military-type jet fighters to keep getting the speed he needed. Now he's got the cars he can drive to keep that taken care of.
Car 133, Joe Wolf and Liz Franzen in a black 2016 Chevy Corvette. They're up next. That's car 133.
Joe and Liz are together here today. They've been working together for quite a while. This is the 5th year of racing for Joe, and I know Liz would want us to call out to the kids and Joe.
Up to the start line now, it's the Budke boys, Ethan and Josh in car 411. They're driving a black 1992 Toyota MR2, car 411.
Car 411 out of North Platte, Nebraska, of course. 2nd year at Sork. They've enjoyed the event as a spectator. Now they're here as racers.
Car 203 coming to the line. This is John Lucan and Derek Lucan. It's a blue 2003 Chevy Corvette.
Beautiful car out of Omaha. John is a retired tool and die maker. CJ is Director of Operations at Anderson Industrial Engines in Omaha. So they have great backgrounds for this, and they brought the car in, and they are ready to fly.
Eighth car of the class. This will be car 392. Scott Fry, Becky Fry. This is a black 2021 Dodge Challenger.
Out of Loveland, Colorado, officially hooked on the culture of racing at Sork clear back in 2016, navigating at that time, and has been back every year since 2021. Also took a year off to volunteer, which is appreciated.
I think they're going to have just a little bit of a delay here, and I don't think it has anything to do with out on the track right now, Dave. But so car 392 right now holding up just a little bit. They haven't brought the cone out. Do want to remind folks that this is day 1 of 3 of the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. The shootout will be taking place tomorrow. That'll be over between Callaway and Cozad, just about halfway in between, basically out in the middle of nowhere. And that's why you have a half mile and a 1 mile shootout there. And then the Sandhills Open Road Challenge itself from Arnold to Dunning is scheduled on Saturday. And, of course, KBBN will be there along with Sandhills Express.
You bet. Yes, and a big thank you to Great Plains Communications. A couple of years ago now, they made internet available out in the middle of nowhere, and that enabled video coverage. And I believe we will have a drone up tomorrow for the shootout to go along with our video coverage. I think Lucas Bell is providing that, and that is a lot of fun to listen to. As Jeremy said, the shootout is probably your most spectator-friendly race because you can see them longer, and they go in a straight line right by you. But there's some places for the Sandhills Open Road Challenge on Saturday that you can find out on the track.
As you can hear, Dave, we're back and running again as the Fries are out on the course. That'll bring up car 221, Jay Hill and Kathy Hill. This is a yellow 2016 Chevy Corvette.
Car 221 out of Thornton, Colorado. They've been married for 44 years. They met in high school when they were 15 and 16 years old and have been together ever since. And it's obvious they have interests that really complement that.
Off and running. Car 311 is next. That'll be James Lockhart. James is driving a black 2016 Chevy Corvette.
Well, enjoy having a lot of folks out from Lincoln, Nebraska. That's where James drove from. Looking forward to being here. He was looking for another nice run here today, and he's expanded his experience in Heartland and Topeka.
And by the way, Dave, it might get a little harder to hear you, as 3 deep right now is Nick Eckberg. You can probably already hear him. Right now, though, at the line, it's 433 Cam Ewald and Alan Ewald in a purple 1973 Plymouth Cuda.
And this is their 4th year, and they are out of Blair, Nebraska in that Cuda. And they thank everyone who organizes and volunteers for this event.
To the line now will be 690 Bob Brownell and Rick Hagee. This is a gray 1966 Chevy Corvair.
Sounds a little bit more powerful than your regular Corvair. They're out of Laramie, Wyoming, and they have brought it in for all the fun they can handle. And they've got the gears that they need for this racetrack, according to the literature here.
All right, Dave, I'll get this out quick. Car 65, Nick and Lyle Eckberg, a blue 1965 Chevy Corvette, final car of the 95-mile-per-hour class, and we'll just let you listen.
All right, they've been doing this for 23 years. They've been to all the races.
And Dave, with that, we're done with the 95-mile-per-hour class. We'll have a little bit of a break here because the next class will be the highest speed class, 110 miles per hour.
All right, we'll take a 30-second break.
When your car needs fixed, getting it running right is all you should have to worry about. The last thing you need is wondering if the shop you're taking it to is honest and trustworthy. You won't worry about that at all with A1 Auto Repair in Arnold. They offer a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on non-wear items to give you peace of mind. Ask for a complimentary digital inspection to save headaches down the road. They invite you to the action and fun of the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. Proud to sponsor coverage, A1 Auto Repair in Arnold.
Back live at the track, which is also an elementary school and a gymnasium, Larry, but it's a great place to put this on. It really works out nicely, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it's just a regular road that we're racing on. And, of course, Highway 2 is still in action as well. We thank the traffic control from the Thomas County Sheriff's Office. And, of course, let's also put out a big thanks for all the fire departments and rescue units. Thedford Rescue right next to me here where I'm at the start line. And without all that volunteer help, this just doesn't get off.
Yeah, I think people forget how many people are up and down this track and the other tracks throughout the next few days that take their most of their day, if not all day, to be out there in case something happens. And the fire departments, of course, are there in case there's a spark or something like that. Fortunately, you know what? The sandhills look about as good as they've looked in a while. And think back to the awful fires that were taking place when it was so dry. I don't know that they would have been able to have the racing up here in the sandhills if the conditions were like they were at that time. So we're very fortunate with the weather, not only very comfortable, but much safer for the fire factor.
And yeah, for folks that are kind of just driving through the area and heading through the sandhills, it's amazing. You and I noted it this morning how pretty the wild sunflowers are and how many of them there are between here and Dunning.
Yeah, I was visiting with Grant about that. And, you know, we've been coming up here a lot of years for this and for fishing trips and so forth. And this is typically what you see on good years. You have the sunflowers. But I'm not sure that we've had this many sunflowers to look at that I remember. And I think that's a very good sign. It shows you what's going on with, I guess, the rebuild up here with the drought we had and then the fires we have. It's a bright spot to see everything coming back. And I know for those folks listening out there on KBBN today, there's folks who lost a lot of grass in fires, and they'll be still rebuilding for another year or two before they get it all back. But it sure has been a wonderful summer so far.
Well, Dave, we're getting ready for the 110-mile-per-hour class. This is the fastest of all the classes, and it's the second smallest class. We only have 6 vehicles in it. First one up to the line is car 12, Ted Hughes, along with Cody Jantz in a silver 2016 Dodge Viper. Car 12 is not on the clock. Yeah, it is on the clock right now.
All right, so they'll be going soon out of Seward, Nebraska. They've been coming for many years. And he noted in the book here, may not be the car that's pictured in the book because he has like 3 options. So we're getting a look at probably this one. Maybe he's brought some more automobiles as well, but this is Ted at his best, getting ready to go to Purdom and back. And by the way, takes if you want the perfect time to get to Purdom one way, 6 minutes, 19 seconds, .636 is what they're shooting for to get to Purdom and then turn around and come back.
And they are off and running. That's Ted Hughes and Cody Jantz in the first vehicle of the 110 class. That'll bring up to the line car 3. This is Brian Chandler, along with Shane Cool, another familiar local name. 2009 Chevy Corvette. It is silver in color.
Well, Brian is out of Scotts Bluff, Nebraska, but he has Shane Cool with him, who is, of course, an Arnold farmer rancher. And Shane, for many years, was the director of the Sork races and stepped down a few years ago and now enjoying taking a ride.
And ready to take the ride right here as they have got the clock counting down. Again, just a little bit more time because of the highest speed between the classes and in between the cars that are going out as well, as they are reaching the 5-second mark. And car number 3 is ready to go here in the loop-de-loop. And we're going to have a little bit, I think, interruption in the grid here, Dave. It looks like instead of 282, it'll be car 426, Doug Jones and Daniel Jones, that'll be coming up here first. This is a blue 2017 Ford GT.
All right, thanks for the heads up there. Car 426 out of South Dakota, and they look forward to the event every year and meeting up with the people. They have a farm and a trucking operation that they do when they're not working on the car and racing it. So we're looking forward to seeing how Doug and Daniel Jones do out of South Dakota in the 2017 Ford GT. You're listening to KBBN 95.3 FM. You can also be watching on sandhillsexpress.com.
And car 426 is off and running. to the line. Here's another familiar name, Dave. Mark Kapner and Scott Kapner driving vehicle 811. This is a blue 2019 Chevy Corvette.
And they're out of Idaho Falls, and they won the 105 and 100 in the Loup to Loup. So they have experience of hitting those numbers we just talked about, and they frequent racetracks and have a race license from the SCCA and NASA. So they're true competitors all the way across the country, but it's really nice to have them here, right here in the Sandhills.
And they always seem to bring something pretty fantastic for the shootout, too.
Yeah, they're competitors, no doubt about it.
Well, they're ready to take off here in the Loop-de-Loop. Final vehicle in the 110-mile-per-hour class. This is car 911. Jason Walsh, Chris Rutten, a black 2015 Dodge Viper, car 911.
Jason Walsh and Chris Rutten out of Kearney, and they thank the volunteers and organizers for a great week of reunions and driving thrills. They love coming to Arnold and Halsey every year, and they say they're continuing to be blessed to get to the speed on their oil roads in the state of Nebraska that normally you don't get to drive that fast on, and do it legally, so they're thankful.
And, of course, they'll be doing it. It's always fun here at the Loop-de-Loop. You watch them go over the hill, and the first thing they see is the sign that says speed limit 55. But right now today, it's 110.
Yeah, that's what they're averaging, yeah.
I guess you could say they're doubling down.
They are definitely.
And that's the end of the 110-mile-per-hour class. So they'll bring the cone out and get ready for the 105. Actually, they're not going to bring the cone out because this is a slower class. So it looks like they're just going to jump right into it, Dave.
Okay, all right.
So the first car, and you know, this is something we noticed in all these higher speed classes. It's a lot of familiar names. Jared Helge and Matt Helge, 2009 Chevy Corvette, gray in color, 112.
All the way from Fort Wayne, Indiana. Jared participated in his first Sork race back in 2001 and has only missed 2 events ever since. Darn college got in the way. He had to go to college. That's not even right.
And we've got 8 cars in the 105-mile-per-hour class, and the Helgies are just about ready to go. And I know we say this every year, Dave. Car 20, one of the best racing names out there. Tommy Dale Vines, along with Marcia Graves, in a black 2007 Chevy Corvette. It's car 20.
Yeah, and they're from a pretty cool named town to Eagle Butte, South Dakota. And they always count the days and tell Sork it can't come soon enough. They say nothing new on the Corvette, but they'll be back to compete again. And Tommy Dale should be able to do all 3 passes and break 190. That's what they're shooting for later on in this week. So they've got some goals that they want to accomplish while they're here, and mostly they want to have fun.
You know, it's always kind of interesting that we get vehicles here from the cities, from the small communities throughout the country and rural areas. It's just a good mix.
Yeah, we get them from everywhere.
So Tommy Dale Vines and Marcia Graves are off and running. Bring up the 3rd vehicle in the 105-mile-per-hour class. This is car 343. Jeremy Gosson going by himself today. It's a silver 2001 Chevy Corvette 343.
All right, very excited about being here out of Papillion, Nebraska. Jeremy in car 343, the 2001 Corvette. Gosson Brothers Racing is delighted to participate in the 2023 Sandhills Open Road Challenge with Jeremy driving this Corvette. And they even have some 675 horsepower. You got to be kidding me. That's just craziness. The car went 197 miles per hour in the July 2022 Big Blue Mile event. So it can go fast.
You know, Dave, you and I have both driven up to Purdom. Now, Now back to that thought.
Yeah.
We've both driven up to Purdom, but 55 is fast enough, let alone going 105.
Yeah, and remember that's their target. So they have to slow down for the corners, but man, oh man, they got to average that. So
car 444 is next. This is RT Green and Josh Cool in a purple 2019 Dodge Challenger.
all right, Josh is getting to ride with RT. Both from the area. RT, although originally not from this area, but started coming to Sork and ended up moving to Arnold. And he also kind of helps get things together for the fall festival now. Got that started a year or two ago with the parade and so forth. So a couple of locals that are going to have some fun in that Challenger.
Car 444 off and running. And car 77 coming to the line. Another one of those familiar names from years past. Dan Axemet, along with Connor Long. This is a yellow 2016 Chevy Corvette, car number 77. What a great year.
Dan's been coming here for many, many years, since 2003, and he's out of Broomfield, Colorado. And his mate Leah joined him in 2015, and they've been racing together ever since. This year, their son Connor is hoping to get in on the action and experience everything that Sork can offer, and of course, with the communities of Arnold and Halsey and Callaway included.
It's hard to believe, Dave, we're down to the final 9 vehicles in this loop-to-loop race, at least for the first portion of it.
First half of it, and we won't want to snooze when they get ready to come back either.
Coming up to the line now is 999. This is Gary Bates. He's driving. Jack Jones is the navigator. It's a blue 2013 Dodge Viper.
Out of Mondamin, Iowa, in the Viper. Goes by Jack Jones and hopefully Cheryl to be the navigator. He's been working on that for a while. And they're ready to go in that 2006 Viper and see what they can do out there. They really love the car, and they love coming here and competing.
You know, we talked about the fire departments and also the rescue units and the sheriff's office here helping out and volunteering with the day. How about just the volunteers that are out on the course helping out? They're doing the flagging, doing a lot of different jobs, and even the ones here at the start line and at the finish.
Yeah, over 300 volunteers.
So we're down to the final 2 cars of the 105-mile-per-hour class. This is car 650, Jared Roberts and Tyler Tion. It's a white 2015 Chevy Corvette. This is car number 650.
All right, 650 with Jared Roberts out of Gretna, Nebraska, a third-generation Nebraskan, and this is his 11th Sork race, certainly one of the highlights of his year, he says. And driving the car and viewing all the truly big iron at the event is fantastic, but he goes on to say the best thing about the race is the people, and we hear that so often.
You know, the other thing here, Dave, is these folks, you know, this is an investment for their hobby, for their fun time, but these vehicles are big investments.
Oh, you can't imagine. Plus the modifications that some of them make.
All right, we're going to end the 105-mile-per-hour class with car 969. This will be Dan Roback along with Braden Malsum in a black 2014 Chevy Corvette. It is car 969.
So this will be the 7th year now for Sork and the 6th for this particular car. They ran a different car earlier. Went on to say his wife got to navigate for him finally last year. And this year, stepson Braden will be taking the navigator position and doing their best to include the whole family in this event because it is a family affair. The Sork races all the way from beginning to end.
We've had a beautiful morning for this so far. The sun's out, but it's not terribly hot. And we've got a breeze and really not much of a factor. It's just helping out the folks that are sitting here watching it. And with cars 969 headed down the course, we are down to the final 5 cars of this first leg of the Loop-de-Loop. It will be the 100-mile-per-hour class. We will have a Corvette, a Camaro, a Shelby, a Boxster, a Porsche Boxster, and a Nissan. So what a mix-up.
What a mix. Yeah, that's a great mix. Let's take a quick 30. We'll be right back.
Proud to support the exciting road racing action of the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. Mills Hardware in Arnold. They have 350 feet of strong, reliable, consistent Milwaukee tools that they want you to see. 3 aisles of Milwaukee tools that lead the industry in durability and performance. They are proud to be the area's premier Milwaukee connection at Mills Hardware in Arnold. Happy to support the Sandhills Open Road Challenge race week.
All right, Larry, looks like they're taking off already.
All right, Dave, 529, Chad Christensen and Aaron Wells in a blue 2011 Chevy Corvette started off our 100-mile-per-hour class as we were just coming back on the air. And so they are off and running down the course. That'll bring up car 187. This is Dustin Sabatka along with Todd Schneider. This is a black 1996 Chevy Camaro.
All right, they've been a part of SORC since 2007, and they look forward to returning every year because the people, atmosphere, and racing is what makes this event a great experience, and they look forward to spending the next few days with you, folks.
They are lined up, and the clock is running. Yep, just getting started here, so got a few seconds. It had a little bit of a delay. And doing a little talking here, so I think they got the clock running, but there's no cone out. It's just a little bit of a delay, not much here, Dave.
All right, well, so far so good. Now we have to remind ourselves that as we go through the grid here, they're still out on the track, and these are some of the faster cars that just left here a while back and right now. So we want them to get over to Purdom safely and then turn around, come back. And in recent years, we've been a little tardy getting going with the return of the cars when things are running smoothly. They don't take a long time to turn it around, so we're going to be diligent today and make sure we catch them coming in.
Yeah, I think you and I got caught with our pants down here a time or two the last couple of years where we were walking back and vehicles were coming in. All right, 187. Dustin Sabatka and Todd Schneider in that black 1996 Chevy Camaro. They are on the course. They're off and running. We're down to the final 3 cars. Car 315 is up next. This will be Kevin Miller and Bruce Osborne in a red 2020 Ford Shelby GT.
And they're out of Littleton, Colorado. Driver Kevin is an electrical engineer, and he is married to his wonderful wife, Erica. They have 3 kids. And they are loving it here, and they brought in some big iron here to race across the track, and we just want them to get there, have themselves a good time in that GT 500, and come back and see us.
And you look at this Shelby GT up here at the front. It's got that Cobra signal on Cobra emblem up there on the front, so you'll love to see that. They are on the clock and ready to go. Car number 981. This is Andrew Ramp, another familiar name to the SORC Racing, in a chalk-colored 2018 Porsche Boxster. And the chalk color is kind of, like a creamy gray. But I like the word chalk.
Chalk works. It sounds good. Garden Ridge, Texas is where they bring that Porsche from, and been coming to Nebraska for many years. They love the event, again, because of the people. AJ was a fighter pilot in the Air Force and flew a T-38 as an instructor, and he's been to Mexico, Japan, and all over the world with that particular part of his career. Now he's right here in the Sandhills.
And the clock is running. They're down to the final couple seconds, and Andrew is off and running. I don't know how long it's taken, Dave, but it sure seems like it's been fast. We are down to the final vehicle of the day. 115 have been out on the course or are on the course, and car 116 is about to go there, and it is car number 376, Steve Tasca and Alex McGill. They're driving a gray 2009 Nissan GTR.
Out of Colorado Springs, Colorado, Steve is a paintless dent removal professional with 20 years of enthusiasm in cars, and this is his 8th year attending the event, and really happy to be here. Says some nice things here in the book. If you get a chance, folks, get a hold of one of these programs. They're full of information about the drivers and all the supporters of the event as well.
And they are ready to go as the clock has ticked down. Just like that, the first half, the first leg of this loop-to-loop has at least got started, completely started. Of course, there'll be some vehicles out on the track for a little bit, and then they'll return back here to Halsey from Purdom a little bit later on, and we'll have that for you.
Well, we almost lost one of our staff members here. Put that headset back on, Grant, real quick. Before we quit the streaming, and by the way, we will not be streaming the second half of this race because we'll just catch the cars when they come in up over the hill and let you know when they're in. And a lot of that's for the, I guess, peace of mind for folks out there who have friends and relatives on the track. We'll let them know that they come across the finish line. But before we close the stream and this portion of the radio broadcast, I wanted to congratulate Grant on a award-winning night last night at the Nebraska Broadcasters Convention. And Grant won 2 major awards, a gold award, and that was coverage of the Halsey fire and the devastation that it brought to this area, the 4-H camp and the forest itself. And he also had another award that was silver, is that right? Bronze award for some other coverage that he did in the Sargent area. And congratulations, Grant. That was quite a night for you. And I don't know, hold up your fingers. What time did you get home? 1 o'clock? That's not bad. That's not bad at all. Gosh, when I was younger and working in radio, I didn't get home till 3 just on a night out. So you guys did really well. But congratulations to you. Grant, as we told you, will be going to Cedar Falls, Iowa, and taking a position as their news director at public radio station there. And we wish him the best of luck. We'll be working with him. What we're going to work his tail off until sometime Saturday when the Sork races are over, and then he'll be going to get ready to move to his new location. But congratulations, Grant. You've made us proud, and we appreciate what you've done for us.
I want to throw my congratulations in on that too, Dave, and he's done an excellent job with the news director's job, and he's been a pretty good neighbor as well.
That's right, folks. They are actually living in the same apartment house. No squabbles that anybody's aware of. If there have been, it's been kept quiet. So we'll just leave that in the history books if there was one, but I think they got along really well. Jeremy Shipe, of course, heading up the video side of things along with Grant. We appreciate that. And we'll be back with the second half of the Loop to Loop on KBBN 95.3 FM. And I'll let Brent just go ahead and take care of thanking our sponsors, and we'll get reset on this end. But be sure and stay with us. We're going to announce the folks when they come across the finish line so that you will know they're home safe and sound. And then there'll be preparation taking place for the shootout tomorrow. And again, if you're just tuning in, we'll have radio coverage for you tomorrow from the shootout, which is south of Callaway, between Callaway and Cozad, and also providing video streaming there thanks to all the efforts of Clay Moore and many others, and Great Plains Communications will have live video of that for you. Lucas Bell is bringing his drone, so you'll have some overhead views tomorrow. Should be very exciting. And then we'll have video and radio coverage of the start of the Sandhills Open Road Challenge on Saturday. And we'll also have coverage from the turnaround point on Saturday as well. Joan and I will be there. And that's our schedule, which matches, we hope, your schedule, so that you'll listen and watch as much as you can here the next few days. And that concludes the first half of our broadcast. We'll be back when the cars begin to come back the other way. We'll send it back to Brent Apperson in the studio.